So nobody's going to want to watch this video, I get it, but I'm going over my notes talking about one particular question, and that is why my videos are so terrible. I'm going to try to stick with it, and I'm going to try to be systematic, which is one of my reasons why they're so terrible. So I'm going to talk about four things. I'm going to try to keep it organized, and they are that I'm unsystematic, ego-driven, innovative, and lack concision in memory. Those are four things, by the way. So I'm going to try to talk about these as a way of fleshing out my notes, which means not even making a real video. This is why everyone's going to hate it. So why are my videos so terrible? The first point is that they're unsystematic. And I've thought about this a lot, and then this is, the Nietzsche versus Kant thing, Nietzsche versus everyone else. Um, even Ayn Rand was systematic. So late in my career as an untenured philosophy instructor, because that's what I was. I know the guy that complains about people not having PhDs in their discipline, and I don't have a PhD in my discipline. I get I'm a failure. That's not really the point. That's not really a way to understand my ideas, but it's funny. Unsystematic means that you don't move linearly when you explain something, whether you're teaching or talking to a friend or something. You don't move. You don't. You don't move up the chain. Here's an argument for this. Here's an argument for this. Here's an argument for this, in a way that progresses, and in such a way that you have a start and a finish. Um, a good way to think about this, and in some sense, the way philosophy's become, one of the things I criticize, is formal logic. So if you think about how formal logic works, there's a lot of rules. There's a lot of mathematical precision that allows you to move from the beginning, the middle, to the end. And so unsystematizing that, especially if you're achieving multiple goals in whatever it is you're doing, a video even, um, is unsettling for a viewer. So this falls under the category of not my fault. This is going to bring up the second problem, which is my fault, and in a meta way, is because I don't see anything as my fault. Um, so the unsystematic thing makes people tune out faster. The algorithm doesn't appreciate it. People are gone. But my argument's always been, I'm going to try to say this quickly, using the Nietzsche example, my argument has always been that the human brain learns better, and what that could be formal learning or just talking to your friends, learns better from a polyphonic presentation. What that means is multiple voices, but in this particular context, multiple voices coming at one particular idea. So playing games, bringing in multiple people, contradicting yourself even, doing certain things that don't move linearly, but do have a beginning, a middle, and an end. No, that don't have a beginning, a middle, and end, but in an unsystematic way do. It's you're not presenting it as systematic, but the result can still be interpreted as systematic. Um, See, this is perfect. I just did it. Like, there you go. I don't need to say anymore. Watch what I just did. That's unsystematizing. So the second one is ego. This one is my fault. Um, it's not like I don't know, because I'm so great, wonderful, tall, good-looking male dancer. I'm confronted with the fact that I'm better than everyone. Wow. Wow. So that's kind of my point. So the ego thing, I'm hyper aware of, so you wonder why I still do it. But let's just talk about the facts. The facts are that I get a lot of comments. Most of the comments are negative, but a lot of that's because I'm critiquing science. You can't critique science. You just don't do it. It's been like critiquing religion in the 15th, 14th centuries. So what I do when I make videos, when I talk, when I used to lecture to classes, is I name drop, and not just name drop proper nouns. I name drop ideas. It's always about how smart I am or what I've done that's great. Um, an example is I went to a huge high school, so because I went to a huge high school, it was really diverse. A lot of famous people came from that high school, so I'm constantly going, "Oh yeah, I knew him. Oh, I went to college with Brad Pitt, which I did. See, what? Like I'm constantly adding things to my story, which again is unsystematic. But I could be talking about free will, and then the systematizing requires that I move from start to finish with free will, and I'm talking about Brad Pitt. I'll literally stop whatever the system is, the system of, you know, arguing for free will, let's say. That's a lot of my videos. I'll do that, and I'll talk about the fact that I knew Brad Pitt in college. He just went to Mizzou and I went to Mizzou. Like it doesn't say anything about me, but I feel like that's my identity is being a male dancer, which is embarrassing, being a comedian, which is embarrassing, knowing Brad Pitt, which is I didn't even know Brad Pitt hardly at all. I did have a famous a friend when I was young that I was really good friends with, who's now also famous, and see, I'm doing it right now, uh, and I'm constantly going, oh, I know Ted from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And people are always like, who? But then they see his face and, oh, yeah, I know him. He's famous. Um, I'm constantly doing it like I'm doing it now. Like, but it's more than that. It's when I'm lecturing, a good part of the way I lecture is talking about things I've done in the past. Well, I did that for 10 years. Oh, well, my support for free will. Well, it's a thing I studied for 30 years. Like, who cares, bro? What is the argument for free will? Not how many years did you do it back before you got fired for the fourth time for not having a PhD in philosophy. So the ego thing just turns people off. And when they get turned off, that translates into the algorithm getting turned off. I know, man. The ego thing's terrible. I don't know what to do. Maybe it's something from my childhood. Like I was always, told that I was good at things or positive. I always had positive reinforcement, which you would think would be a good thing. And I wonder if it got sold to me. Like it was some kind of marketing tool that sold this to me to such an extent that now I take that superficial positive reinforcement and always stick it in my videos. Um, and who would know better than me that this happened? Because I've lived with myself for 50 years. That was a joke right there. So the third one is innovation. This one's not my fault. I'm going alternating between my fault and not my fault because I'm such a genius. I know the difference. It's just getting sadder and sadder as we talk. As I'm talking, I realize how bad the ego one is. I also realize always how bad the unsystematic one is. But the third one is innovation, which means I make shit up. So it could be the case that I'm making things up and that's great and I'm inventing things and some of those things are valuable, but the algorithm hates it when you make stuff up. And I don't mean lie, I mean innovate. I mean when you create something new, the algorithm, but also people. When I say process thinking, nobody understands that because I made it up. And I don't mean it in the way Whitehead meant it. I made my own definition for how process thinking um, is an alternative to memorized thinking. Um, and who would know better than me? I did it for 30 years. Just so sad. I feel like picking up this cat and sticking my head in his mouth because I'm so dumb. Um, that could be a whole nother category, is my pretend self-flagellation. So the innovative doesn't work with the algorithm, but it doesn't work with the algorithm because it doesn't work with people. They don't appreciate newness when it's too new. And then when you combine that with the ego side of it, hey, look at my new idea, that is just terrible. So I'm already getting turned off by making up terms, not focusing on proper nouns, and doing all these things that alienate people from what I'm doing. And I think any great innovator like me has this problem. Alex Gomez Marin, my favorite Spanish philosopher, talks a lot about living on the edge in philosophy and physics, but that there are consequences to living on the edge. So that is a defense, I think, that makes this category not entirely my fault. Now, when you think it's new and it's just bullshit, now that would be a problem. And I think that's what's going on with the ego part of it. But when you innovate and it's real and it's going to be new, like some of Nietzsche's ideas, then 100 years from now, people appreciate it and I'll be gone. Thanks. What a benefit. So the last one, the last reason my videos are terrible, and one of these ways you can think about how to present philosophy, but any video really, is that I lack concision and memory. Um, and I don't. This one is not. This one is my fault because I should know the difference, and I should know that I'm doing it. So concision is related to the unsystematic, the first one. Concision means that, for example, I'm focused on one idea um, initially, like this is a terrible video. And then I want to talk about my life, and I want to talk about something funny, and I want to be the star of the show. I want to be a comedian. I want to talk about my childhood. That's all ego also, but it's also distracting from the original question, which might have been, what are the real reasons this video is terrible? So concision means narrowing it down, staying with that and with that focus. Memory is also the fact that I get to a point as I get older. You can see why this one's not my fault, but this one is my fault. So I don't know. This one's kind of my fault and kind of not my fault. But memory just means you can't think of the right word. Um, you, whether it's somebody's name, a philosopher's name, or a concept or an explanation. I do that all the time. And then I think what happens is, I guess, see, I'm justifying it. It's wrong because I lack concision, and that's something that needs to get fixed. Um, I need to be, no, they're related because I can't stay on topic, and I can't stay on topic because I forget where I am. So the memory and the concision are interrelated in the sense that they rely on each other to remain concise. You have to remember what the thing is you're supposed to be concise about. And that's my problem. So I have a terrible problem with that. My defense is Dostoevsky's idea that great thinkers ramble. So you can see how me saying that right there sums up all four of them. Nietzsche's got nothing. Nietzsche. What? Dostoevsky. Dostoevsky. That's memory. Dostoevsky's got nothing to do with the video. Um, it's not systematic to the progress of the video. It's me being so egomaniacal that I'm trying to defend the fact that I'm rambling. Um, it's not really innovative. That one doesn't work. You can see how it kind of sums up the problem. Um, so it's an excuse, and Dostoevsky did say um, in Notes from the Underground that he likes the Rambler, but it's also kind of fictional. So I'm not sure if it's even fair to do it the way I got it in this video. I can't. The reason I can't make long videos is because my technology's all messed up and I can't upload them. That's another one, Luddite, and I don't even know what the word means. Do you see I'm kind of self-effacing? You think I'll get somewhere with this? I'm gonna post this video, even though it's not systematic. It's mostly ego-driven, but there's undercutting, which is kind of a double negative. It's like I'm undercutting because I want to retain the ego-driven, and that's my excuse. It's innovative. It definitely is innovative. Nobody makes videos about why their videos are terrible. And then it's not concise, and I keep forgetting what I'm doing. So I'm going to upload it even though it breaks all four of the rules of acting. Um, and maybe that teaches you something about my videos, about common sense philosophy, about me, about how you can express yourself better by not breaking these four rules. I got to end this stupid video. It's 13 minutes, just like my IQ. Thanks for coming.